What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 98. We are so close to 100. It's going to be so awesome when we get there. But for right now, we are going to go over the 2023 Bigs draft and look back on winners, losers, and it's just some fun stuff along the way that we saw looking back. With me tonight from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, how are you feeling tonight, sir?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm back from a trip out east. We got to see our buddy Mike Haber say I do, and now we're ready to get into the offseason here. We've seen a World Series championship come to pass, and now we're free agency is knocking on the door. This is when it gets really interesting and really fun.
Yeah, we've got a ton of stuff on deck for the offseason with free agency, with trades, with all kinds of amazing stuff going on. We're going to have previews and breakdowns of the division. And of course, everybody's asking for rankings. And if you checked the Bigs blog, the infield's done, the outfield's yet to go. So I put up my infield rankings, my way too early infield rankings. Way too much can happen here in the offseason. Spoiler alert, Wander Franco didn't make the shortstop rankings this year, so who knows what could happen there.
Yep. Yep.
But let's dive right into this thing. Let's start it off with the first round. And Jason, I'll give you this one. Is it Ronald Acuna at 5?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
There could be a case to be made about Otani at 2, because I know we all, at least I, like, my eyes were open wide when McCloskey picked him at number 2 overall. But yeah, it's Acuna. There's
Yeah.
really no argument there.
Yeah, I've got Otani written as the honorable mention. I've got Aaron Judge's bad season as an honorable mention on the bad side. But I think if we're going to go with the loser of this round, I think we have to point to Mike Trout.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, we do. And spoiler alert: his owner appears on my list several times during this
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Um,
it's an interesting first two rounds in that I have the same owners picks 1 and 2 in both rounds. So Mike Sherman with the 40-70 season out of Ronald Acuna is the best pick of the round. Mike Trout only played 82 games this year for Matt Losi. Not great. Round 2, I'm giving the best pick to Mike Sherman as well with Bobby Witt. 30 homers, 49 RBI, 49 steals to pair with Ronald Acuna all year. Last I checked, that's 70 and a buck 20.
yeah, no, that's a solid pairing. I'm actually gonna go a different route. I'm going Frank. I'm going with Spencer Strider. Because again, we kind of questioned it, but he anchored his staff the entire year, and Frank fought the entire year fighting for a playoff spot. And this was a guy that was he did not let go, he did not trade, and he was there all year. And he's once again a Cy Young candidate. So
Strider, he most certainly did trade to me late in the season for Glass now.
fuck. And he's not
Yeah.
a Cy Young candidate either.
No, he's not. He's not gonna win the Cy this year. Shout out to Garrett Cole for his pick there. That could be a Cy Young winner. And the person who gave us the idea for this episode picked very well in the second round as well. He went with Austin Riley. Josh Haber at the wedding said, "Hey, why don't you guys do a show on this?" And I said, "Well, why don't you come on and do the show with us?" And now I'm sure he's listening and is laughing hysterically. But you should have been here doing it with us, Josh. I
Yeah.
miss you, man.
Yep.
Let's move to round number. Oh wait, did we do the worst of round 2? No, we did not. I have Jacob DeGrom as the
Yeah, I
worst
don't think
one
there's a
this
question
year.
there.
Yeah, 30 innings and to be paired with Mike Trout by Matt Losi. Yikes! What a bad situation. Although I have to admit, Sandy Alcantara was pretty bad as well.
Yeah, but he at least gave some innings.
He did. He gave me a bunch of innings. They weren't great, but they were there.
Yeah.
Moving on to round 3, Jason, who you got as the winner there?
Uh, I'm giving it to Adam Lowenstein. With Matt Olson.
Yeah.
I wanted to give it to you for Corey Seager, because I think he just had an absolute fantastic season. But
Mhm.
the Olsen pick, because again, he was coming off of a downish, not a down year, but a downish year.
Mhm.
And it was kind of an eye-popping pick, and it worked out beautifully.
Yeah, it's the fifth first baseman off the board in the first 3 rounds behind obviously Freeman, Vlad, Goldie, and Paul Goldschmidt and Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
The fifth first baseman off the board ends up being the best one of the group here. 54 homers, 139 RBIs. What a hell of a season. I did also have Corey Seager as an honorable mention, along with Francisco Lindor's 30-30 season. That was pretty good
Yeah.
for Frank as well. On the bad side, Jason, who do you have there?
It's tough. I mean, Julio Urias definitely could be in the conversation, but I'm going with Alek Manoah and Costas.
Mm-hmm.
Because what a disappointment for Costas and the Blue Jays for this guy to just completely shit the bed all year long after such a promising 2022 season,
Mm-hmm.
to then just turn into a AAA guy, not even
Yeah,
AAA.
3-9 with a 587 in the majors and spent considerable time in AAA.
And it's
Nah.
it's really going to be fascinating to see what the Blue Jays do in the offseason. Do they think he's going to bounce back? Is he part of the rotation going into 2024? Do they pivot and sign a guy? Like, oh, I can't wait to see what they do, here in the coming months.
Oh yeah, I think it's a foregone conclusion they're going to sign a pitcher. I think they're going to focus more on the offense. Man, they lost Lourdes Gurriel, they lost Kevin Kiermaier, and most importantly, they lost Matt Chapman. So those three players alone offensively, and they lost Brandon Belt for whatever that's worth. So DH, third base, and an outfielder seems to be what they're going to be looking for. I also, for what it's worth, have Alek Manoah as the worst pick, but I do want to give light to Jazz Chisholm and Shane Bieber taken in this round, both pretty bad picks for injury plagued seasons. Round 4, I have Henry Collins taking Luis Robert in this round. 38 homers and 20 steals is a hell of a pick there at fourth in the fourth round.
Yeah, that's a great pick. It's a great call. I went with Christian. I went with Zach Wheeler at eighth in the round. Just another spectacular year out of the Phillies rotation. My honorable mention is going to be to the aforementioned Josh Haber with Felix Bautista.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, lost him in the last month of the season when it counted for him,
Mm-hmm.
but for the whole season he was just a horse in the bullpen for the Orioles.
Lockdown, rock solid, and it was the guy I was eyeing at that point when I took Eloy, which isn't going to make either end of the spectrum here. But I do want to give premise to or give light to Kevin Gossman as the last pick of the round. He led the AL in strikeouts, so
He
I
did.
think that was a great pick there by Brian Lebo. The worst pick of the round, I'm going back to Matt Losi. 3 out of 4 rounds in the of the first 4. He goes Starling Marte, 86 games, a 248 average, only 5 homers and 28 RBIs. Not what you want.
No, and I have the same exact pick, for all the same reasons. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's again, his name is going to be mentioned quite often in this episode. um,
I do also want to say Dylan Cease had a shit season despite Frank taking him in the fourth round.
he did, and even after I traded for him, he wasn't as locked down as I was hoping he would be. I was expecting him to be a guy I can just plug into the rotation and be like, okay, next,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't the case.
No.
He was a hand grenade.
Yeah. Moving to the fifth round, this might be the pick of the entire draft. Corbin Carroll in the fifth round to Bobby Russo. 25 homers, 54 stolen bases. Fantastic pick there. Went out on a limb taking the rookie, but paid off in all the right ways for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my pick. I will give a shout out to Costas with the Zach Gallen pick.
It's also my honorable mention as well.
Yeah, definitely a Cy Young candidate. Um, but yeah, Bobby Carroll or Corbin Carroll, definitely the like you said, the pick of the draft, absolutely in the fifth round.
Yeah, I think it might be the pick of the draft. There might be a couple of others later that will rival it, but for the production you got and where he had to take him in order to get him, I still think this is a steal, getting 54 steals and 25 homers out of this guy.
I don't think
Over,
anybody really thought that was what we were going to get out of him. Like we knew he was going to have a good season. I don't know if
Mhm.
this is what we expected.
I did not expect this kind of output. I expected 20 homers, maybe 20 steals,
Yeah,
something decent. And league winner,
yeah,
carried Bobby to the playoffs. What about on the bad side of this round?
that would be me.
Ooh, for Dalton Varsho,
Dalton
huh?
Varsho. Yeah. Because I was expecting similar to what we were expecting out of Corbin Carroll is what I was expecting at Dalton Varsho, with
Mhm.
also having catcher eligibility, and his 219 batting average. He had 19 home runs, but like the batting average killed me. The strikeouts killed me. Uh, yeah, I kept waiting for him to turn it around, and he'd give you glimmers. He would go on a little mini hot streak and then just slump again.
Mhm. Well, I do have that as an honorable mention on the bad side. I have Carlos Correa as a terrible mention on the bad side, but I'm going to give it to James McCloskey's pick of Tim Anderson, 245 with a 286 on base, a 582 OPS, and only one home run all season. I There's no wonder that the White Sox didn't pick up his option. So he's a free agent now. Whoever signs him is looking to reset that career. Let's hope that that is what happens here. But yeah, this was bad in the fifth round.
He
Absolutely terrible.
he may end up being like an Elvis Andrus kind of guy, middle
Yeah.
infield, like role player, like a Gene Segura kind of guy.
Mhm.
Is where I'm seeing him. This half of his career.
Yeah. If we move to the sixth round, James McCloskey may have gotten the Tim Anderson pick wrong, but he definitely got the Adolis Garcia pick right. 39 homers, 107 RBIs. That's my best pick of this round. What about you?
That's a solid pick, and that's my honorable mention. I'm gonna go with Josh with Logan Webb, another Cy Young candidate, anchored his staff. I know coming out of the draft that he didn't like his rotation. He didn't like his pitching staff, but Logan Webb really kind of anchored it and really gave him, put him where he ended up. And he got into that championship round against his brother.
Mhm.
Logan Webb is a huge part of that, so I have to give a shout out to Josh and Logan Webb.
I also want to give a shout out to Adley Rutschman. Bobby hit it again really well. Another young player here and anchored his catch. It certainly locked down the catcher position all season long. On the bad side, I'll go ahead and take my lumps for Robbie Ray on this one. 3 1/3 all season, and he goes down with TJ. That's terrific.
Yeah, yeah, that was rough. I'm going with another O'Neal Cruz, kind of the same thing.
Hmm.
I think he played for like a week. He played all of 9 games for the Pirates this year, so that was kind of a oops. But
Yeah.
yeah, Robbie Ray too.
Robbie Ray, O'Neal Cruz, Jose Abreu didn't have a great season either here in the sixth round for Christian. So not a great round
Byron
for
Buxton
many
was
people.
never on the field.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clay Holmes melted down. It was not a great round, but certainly not our worst by far. Let's move to round seven. What do you got there?
This one was tough. This one was a tough one. Because I could go either way here. Uh, I'm gonna take Blake Snell with Ari.
Hmm.
Again, we're talking about Cy Young candidates, and he is certainly the front runner. Uh, but Josh with Alexis Diaz is also my honorable mention here in this round.
Yeah, Bednar and Diaz each had 35 plus saves. They're my honorable mentions. But Blake Snell could win a Cy Young this year with his 2.25 ERA and 234 strikeouts. That's another arguably one of the best picks of the draft here in the seventh round with Ari. It's unfortunate that it didn't equate to any success in the regular season for him, but I digress. What do you have on the worst side?
Tristan McKenzie from Costas.
Ooh.
He missed a big chunk of the season, and when he came back, he was awful. So, that was just another waste pick for Costas.
I'm actually going to go with our commissioner here, Daniel Bard, as one save and a 4.56 ERA when he
Good
came
call.
back from, having his head looked at after he hit Altuve. Also, a shout out to Tyler O'Neill, who was injured most of the year. This guy is all hype and no substance anymore. So it's a shame. It's a real
Yeah,
shame.
yeah, because he has all the tools.
He does. He does. Eighth round, man. I'm taking Frank Buco's pick of Anthony Santander at 40 doubles, 28 homers, and 95 RBIs. And Frank dropped me, ended up on my team. So,
Yeah, good job,
mhm.
Frank.
Mhm.
There was a few here. George Kirby was a great pick for Mike. Joan Duran was a great pick for Henry Collins, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Josh's pick of Nick Castellanos. The guy
Mm.
bounced back from a really rough season in 2022 and carried the Phillies and Josh to the championship round. And it was just a fantastic season from him. So yeah, good on Josh for taking him ninth in the round.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honorable mention as well from me. The worst pick of the round, Jason, Carlos Rodon was absolutely pitiful for you. 6.85 ERA, a 3-8 on the regular season. You did at least get Jazz Chisholm out of the deal, but
Exactly, which is why I am not picking myself, and I am picking Bobby's pick of Jake Cronenworth.
mm. I also have written here Ahmed Rosario question mark.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what though? Like that netted him Adbert Alzolay from
Hmm.
me because and I took on Rosario, so it yeah it worked out for him, not so much for me.
Yeah. I mean, Ahmed Rosario in the eighth round really reeks of Akil Baddoo in the eighth round, the same 1 year prior. So if
It,
Costas has this thing about the eighth round,
it's a little bit better, I would say, just because like Rosario has a little bit of a track record, and he had some eligibility, which was cool, and he was playing
mhm.
on the Cleveland, on the Guardians, which was a cool thing. But yeah, I don't even know if he gets drafted this year.
I don't know. He's got to get a job first. He's a free
Yeah,
agent. So, I
yeah,
mean, I'm sure he'll get a job. It's whether or not it's a starting job with regular playing time is the question.
exactly.
Move on to the ninth round. Who do you have as the best pick of the ninth round?
Mike Haber waited all the way to the ninth round to draft his closer, and it was Pete Fairbanks. And Mike won the trophy this year, so I have to give him credit for that. I know he waited as long as he could to pick that closer, and he found it. And he missed some time with injury, but when he was on the mound, he was fantastic. So I had to give it to Mike and Pete Fairbanks.
I do not have Fairbanks even as an honorable mention here, and it's an oversight by me, so my bad on that one. My honorable mention goes to Alec Boehm and his 97 RBIs, but Ben Nisman took Brandon Nimmo, 30 doubles, 24 homers, 74 walks, a 363 on base percentage. Nimmo's a top five center fielder at this point, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
and he also has left field eligibility too. So like,
Oh, that'll be great.
yeah, yeah. So you can plug him in both spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, who do you have as the worst pick of the ninth round?
The top of the round, Kyle Wright.
Yep.
He even pitched this year. I don't even know if he pitched this year.
31 innings with a 6.97
There
ERA.
you
So
go.
he wasn't good even when he pitched. But I also
Yeah.
have Jeffrey Springs getting TJ as a terrible pick of this round as well.
Yep.
Eugenio Suarez wasn't great, but at least
I
you got
I
out from that.
I remember that pick, and I will always remember that pick because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want him. I wanted to bounce back from Anthony Rendon, and Mike had taken him. It was either that round. I guess it was the round before he had taken Anthony Rendon, and I went, well, shit. I got to pivot to Suarez, and I did not want to do that.
All right, let's move on to the 10th round here. Who do you have as the best pick, and why is it Yandy Diaz?
Because it's Yandy Diaz.
That's you're damn right it is.
Yep.
Batting champion. Yeah. Batting champion. 330, 410 on base, and 932 OPS, 22 homers, 95 runs scored in the 10th round. And people like Frank were laughing at me saying, it's too early for Yandy. It's too early. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I will give the
Yeah.
honorable mention to Mike with Bryce Harper waiting to the 10th round for
Yes.
him to come back, and it he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He hung on to him for the first half of the year, and he got what he wanted from him in the 10th round for Bryce Harper. So
Yeah. And you know what? Good on you for getting Christian Yelich as well in the same round. It was a good season out of him.
it was a good bounce back for him.
Yep. Who do you have on the bad side here?
There was a few to choose from. This was a
Yes, there
rough
were.
round for us, but I'm gonna go with McCloskey's pick of Gene Segura,
Mhm.
who might be out of baseball at this point.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have to sign a minor league deal with somebody next year to see if he even gets a shot on a team.
Yeah,
Not great. Lucas Giolito also had a terrible season, despite still racking up 200 strikeouts on 3 separate teams. But mine goes to Costas and taking Giancarlo Stanton. 191 with a 275 on base and a 695 OPS. Okay, can we stop with Giancarlo Stanton now? Please. Just fucking stop it. It's over. It's over. He's going to be like Josh Hamilton or Albert Pujols at the end of his career. Like
Chris
he's
Davis.
thank you.
Either
Yes.
one of
Just
them. Either one of the
awful.
Chris Davises.
Yes, awful. Awful. No more drafting Giancarlo Stanton. 11th round. What do you got there?
Again, a tough one. I'm going with Bobby and Christian Walker.
That's the one I got too.
Waiting to the 11th round to get his first baseman. But honorable mention to your pick of Paul Sewald, who was a dominant closer on 2 teams. So good on you there.
Yeah, he fucked me over twice. Once it was a Sunday that he blew a save, and Ben and I both lost categories because of it. And then the playoffs, he didn't get a save toward the end of the season because the Diamondbacks were either losing or blowing people out, and it just, I do have Bobby as the best pick of this round. 33 homers, 103 RBIs, and 36 doubles from Christian Walker. Beautiful season. Also with a shout out. Frank, thanks for drafting Pablo Lopez in the 11th round too. He almost led the league in led the AL in strikeouts as well.
He's a great pick too. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got on the bad side?
So I guess I didn't remember the Suarez pick as well as I thought because this was the round that Mike drafted Anthony Rendon, and that is my worst pick of the draft.
The worst pick of the whole draft.
The round, maybe of the draft.
The round.
I mean, look, I know I was expecting a bounce back from this guy, and I think we all were, and it was just more of the same. He played.
Yeah, he might be washed.
He played for like an hour, and that was it.
Yeah, I'm going with Mike Sherman's pick of Nick Lodolo here. 34 innings all season, and he just never came back. Plus, it was a Reds pitcher. I didn't particularly like the idea of taking a lot of Reds pitchers early on. Yeah, that's the bad one for me.
Yeah.
Moving into round 12, I'm going to go ahead and give my pick of the entire draft to Ben Nisman here for Luis Arraez. 354 average, 393 on base, 862 OPS, and 12th round, and we let a batting champion slip to him in the 12th.
Yeah. That is very true. He is. I have a bunch of honorable mentions here in this round. I'm going with Sherman and Kodai Senga.
There you go.
Taking a dart throw at him on the 12th round, and look, he's probably not going to win the Rookie of the Year, but he's a candidate, and he had a great first season. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for this guy. So great pick there. Ben with Arraez, Adam picking Joe Ryan, Frank with Craig Kimbrell. There was a bunch of good picks in this round.
McCloskey with Chris Bassett and Ari with Masataka Yoshida. Those are the other two I wanted to shout out myself. Yeah. What about on the bad side?
Boy, I'm gonna give this a tie because I think they're both really the same kind of pick. Me with Miguel Vargas and Mike with Miranda, like both two young guys on what we thought were going to be winning ball clubs, which they were, but we thought they were going to be big parts of those winning ball clubs, and they were around for a few weeks, and that was it. They were horrible.
Yeah. I also have Miguel Vargas as well. 195 batting average over just over 250 at bats. I remember when you dropped him and he hit the wire, and I was like, "Ooh, that's tasty." And then I saw what he had actually done, and I went, "Oh, no, it's not."
I think there could still be a future for the guy. His walks were up, his on base was up. So like that to me, as a young kid, says something, but he just wasn't doing anything other than walking.
And now Gavin Lux is coming back next year, so we're assuming that he's going to eat up some playing time. Be interesting to see what the Dodgers do in the middle infield this off season. Moving to the 13th round, I'm giving Brian Lebo the best pick of the draft, or the best pick of this round, with Ketel Marte, 276, 358, and an 843 with 25 homers and 82 RBIs, leading the Diamondbacks to the World Series. Justin Turner and Jesus Luzardo both had good seasons. What do you got?
Yeah. I have it as I gave it to Lazardo and Henry, with the honorable mention going to Frank and Jordan Montgomery, who was really good, especially when he got to the Rangers.
Mhm.
He found it. So both of those guys, but and as you mentioned, Ketel Marte was a great pick too. Didn't stay on the team for the whole season, so I kind of shaded that a little bit, but it was still a great pick.
Great pick. Great pick. What do you got on the bad side?
I have Mike Sherman's pick of Mitch Henniger,
Mm.
who I think his stock has completely dropped. He's still a part of the Giants, so he's gonna get some playing time next year. But I don't believe in this guy.
He's not buying in on this guy next year. I have Luis Garcia as the bad pick of the round. Josh Haber only got 27 innings out of him, and then he was done for the year. So, yikes.
Yeah, yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. I also honorable mentions. I did have Haniger. Also, Brady Singer just isn't doing it for the Royals, and I don't know if he's ever going to figure it out.
Josh Rojas was also a questionable pick.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. All right. What about round 14? What do you got in round 14 for best pick?
Sonny Gray, and
Yeah, no
what?
doubt.
Yeah, who else? McCloskey's pick of Sonny Gray. Yeah, this guy could win the Cy Young. Or he's a candidate to win the Cy Young, and he's gonna make some cash this winter.
Yeah, the only other thing I have is a Cal Raleigh 30 home run season as a catcher, and that's it. Sonny Gray, 184 innings, 2.79 ERA, 183 strikeouts. Great pick for James McCloskey. On the bad side, there were plenty of them. Which one?
Yeah, yeah. Pick your favorite. I'm going with Liam Hendricks, because I think he pitched like 2 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Javi Baez obviously stands out as a horrible pick. Dylan Floro, Cal Quantrill. Yeah, who do you got?
I have written under my terrible mentions, Javi Baez sucks. But my worst pick of the round goes to Henry Collins Ross Stripling. He had
Okay,
11
yeah,
starts, 0-5 with a 5.36. He was supposed to be good, and I thought this was a really sneaky pick, picking a guy on San Francisco who had a good year the year before. No, no, didn't happen.
by
So
the way, I will also shout out myself for the honorable mention for Grayson Rodriguez. He had a rough start. Then when he came back from the minors, he looked pretty good. So I was content with that.
I could see him going at exactly the same spot again next year and paying off. Whereas
Yeah.
this year, I think you just sort of got what you expected out of him.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We move to the 15th round. I'm giving the best pick to JD Martinez from Costas. He got 100 plus RBIs out of JD Martinez in the 15th round. That is a win. What do you got?
I got our commissioner. I got Merrill Kelly,
Yeah.
who put together just a fantastic season. Kind of under the radar, I think, both in Major League Baseball and in the bigs.
Mhm.
Honorable mentions go to Henry with Zach Eflin,
Yep.
because who the F saw that coming, and Christian with Nate Eovaldi.
Yeah. Eflin won 16 games this year for the Rays, and I guess that's their ace now because everyone else is dead.
Yeah, I guess.
Speaking of dead, Dylan Dodd was awful this round, buddy.
Yeah,
760 ERA across 7 starts. Thought you were going to be slick with the 5 starter in Atlanta, and he was not.
yeah, and I remember it was either going to be him or Jared Schuster, and they were both pretty awful.
Yeah, don't
Uh,
worry. We'll talk about Schuster later.
yeah. I got here. Mike Haber with can we go back to calling him Joe Bob?
Yes, we can go back to calling him Joe Bob this season.
Okay. Uh, well, he was the worst pick of the round to me. He
Mhm.
was supposed to be maybe the closer, and then Carlos Estevez came about and became the closer for the Angels, and this guy saw
Mhm.
AAA. That was that.
Yeah, absolutely. Round 16 was pretty bad, man. Who do you have as the best pick of the round?
Yeah, and just my criteria was I started with guys who stuck on a team, like for the duration of the season. And the only two in this round that qualify are Gregory Soto and Shea Langeliers. Uh, so like Gregory Soto, I guess is who I'm going with from McCloskey, because
Okay.
he was at least serviceable as a Phillies one fourth of this of the that four-headed monster in the Phillies bullpen.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's where I'm going.
All right. My criteria did not have the same type of thing. I wanted to see who had the best season,
Fair.
and that's pretty much it. So for me, it's Trevor May in the 16th round with 21 saves.
Yeah.
Uh, from Mike Sherman. He did obviously drop him because he ended up on my team throughout the season. Uh, there are no honorable mentions because the worst pick is basically everyone else. That's what I said for this one. What
Yeah.
is Kyle
I didn't
Finnegan
I did
went. Edward Cabrera had a walk problem. Loriano was bad. Lourdes Gurriel had a good year.
yeah. I did narrow it down to Will Myers just because fuck Will Myers, but
Okay.
yeah, you could take any of these guys.
All right. James Karinchak went in this round. Jose Urquidy was hurt. Yeah, it was a bad round. It was a bad
Yeah.
round. Don't worry, it's not the worst one because that's coming up. Round 17. Who do you have as the best pick?
uh Maybe is this the pick of the draft, Cody Bellinger?
It
Uh
would be if Bellinger had stayed on his team the whole year, but he
True.
dropped him after like 2 weeks because he was doing so terribly.
That is true. Um I, kind of still where I'm going here. Chapman's not a bad pick from Mari in round four or in pick four. Um, who are you going with here?
I also have Bellinger, 307, 356, 828 OPS with 26 homers and 20 steals. He's going to get paid this offseason
Yeah,
by somebody, and I think it might be the Yankees.
does
I
it
also
fit?
had Michael King having a nice season for Costas, was it?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it was a good season out of Michael King, so that's worthy of an honorable mention. The worst pick goes to Brian Lebo's pick of Ryan Tepera. Who do you have?
I have your pick of Matt Bush.
Yeah, that was terrible too, wasn't it? I didn't even know who that guy was 3 weeks earlier. It was hilarious. It's awesome. The 18th round is the most boring round of the draft, and I'm boycotting.
Yeah. This
This round
I
sucked.
stared at this round for about 5 minutes, going
This round sucked.
like,
Just to put this in perspective, Domingo Acevedo, Reed Detmers, Eric Swanson, Danny Jansen, Luis Urias, Anthony Bass, Andrew Chafin, Tanner Houck, Alex Vesia, Alex Cobb, Michael Fulmer, Rafael Montero, Jorge Polanco, Scott Magoo, Tanner Scott, and Hector Neris. Fuck us, guys. We fucked this round up.
yeah. I think we can just
Everybody
strike this
got a
round for the
bad pick.
record.
Yeah, I mean this was bad. Did you come up with a best pick?
I I have Costas Alex Cobb question mark because
Yeah.
again I think he's the only one that really stayed on a team for at least most of the year.
Yeah, and he had
Uh
an ERA south of 4 with a 7-7 record.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Sure. He got a serviceable 4 starter. Good job, Costas.
but and for the record, I'm picking where are we in round 18? Oh, Domingo
18.
Acevedo as
Yeah.
my loser pick, but pick your choice.
Yeah, I mean this whole thing is kind of ugly. I guess I would say Jorge Polanco is one of the best picks of the round in a vacuum, but
Yeah,
like
but he couldn't stay on the field.
right, right. All right, round 19. My honorable mention goes to Carlos Estevez with his 31 saves, but it's not who I'm picking. Is that who you have as your best pick?
It is not.
I'm going with Nico Horner. How'd you feel about that one?
Oh, okay. That's not where I thought you were going, but I
Yeah,
like it.
no, Nico Horner, a 283, 346 with a 729 OPS and 43 stolen bases.
He had a fantastic
Sneaky
year.
good pick.
Yeah. I'm going with his former teammate Marcus Stroman.
Mm,
He tailed off in the second half after his injury, but I mean, 19th round pick. He was an all star. Like,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And like I said, Carlos Estevez was my honorable mention. Worst pick of the round for me goes to Jesse Winker, 199 with a 320 on base and only one home run. What about you?
Diego Castillo.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was bad.
like, and I was surprised that he kind of just fault. I would have thought at some point during the season the Mariners would have called him back up. I was waiting for him. He was in my watch list for the whole season because
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for him to come back up. He pitched all of 8 games this year, with a 6.23 ERA, and it's like that was it.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
I'll also give myself a shout out also for honorable
Mhm.
mention of Brian Abreu, who was really he was on my team the
Nice
entire
job.
year, and he was really good out of the Astros bullpen. Got me some
Definitely.
saves, um, and he never really had like a big blow up.
Mhm. Good call. Good call. Moving on to the 20th round. Who do you have as the best pick there?
Uh, I have Ari's pick of Josh Young.
So do
Uh,
I.
yeah, yeah, that was a real savvy pick here late in the draft, and you know this is the guy of the future for the Rangers. So good pick there.
Yeah, I could see him as a top 12 third baseman next year. Like I could see him in the top 10 or 12 rounds going
Yeah,
off the board.
yeah,
You know, 266, 315 with a 782, 23 homers and 70 RBIs. He did miss a little bit of time with injury, but really, really solid season here. I have a whole bunch of terrible mentions, but
yeah.
my pick of AJ Pollock might be the worst. 165 with a 215 on base percentage at a 523 OPS. Gross. What about you? Who you got it to worst?
Well, you're going with your pick. I'm going with my pick. Nick Gordon, who especially with all the injuries to Byron Buxton, I really thought this kid was going to be like a fixture in center field, and he had a whole bunch of eligibility. And turns out he couldn't stay in the field either. So
Hmm.
he played all of 34 games and was awful.
That's terrible. I have Tyler McGill, Cionel Perez, Aaron Ashby, and Noah Syndergaard all as bad choices this round. And as we get deeper into the draft, obviously we're going to see a lot more bad picks than we will good picks. So
Of course, yeah,
moving to the 21st round, I have Wilmer Flores as the best pick of this round from Bobby. 284, 355, 864 on base, and 23 home runs. Good job, Wilmer. Good
yeah.
job having a good season.
Yeah, and I read some of that because if somehow he made it onto the waiver wire, and I picked him up, and uh he just kept on hitting. And once the Giants started playing him against right-handers, I was like, well, okay, he's not a platoon guy anymore. He's just gonna play every day.
Yeah. And he'll be another nice sneaky pick in about this point in the draft next year. And somebody might reap some more benefits. Who knows? He might go off for another 20 home run season. You never know.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
also have Ha-Sung Kim as a nice season here. Who did you have as your pick?
that's who I had. It was
That's
Hassan
it.
Kim. Yeah. Played every day. He was really serviceable. Again, in the 21st round, you're not expecting a whole lot from a guy, but he was there for the Padres and for Ari. So yeah.
Of all third base eligible players in the majors in the bigs last year, Ha-Sung Kim had the most stolen bases at 38. So playing him every day was actually a really smart idea.
Yeah.
Who you got as the worst pick?
Yeah. I guess I'm going with Austin Meadows, Lebo's pick of Austin Meadows.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he played. Did he play a game? I don't
21 at bats.
The 21 at bats.
21 at
There you go.
bats.
Okay.
That's
But
it.
there were some bad ones here. Oscar Colas stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Lauer stands out. But yeah, I have to go with Austin Meadows.
All right. Moving on to the 22nd round. Who you got as the best pick there?
Uh Bryson Stott from Henry
Yes.
Collins. Yeah, yeah. That ended up
Another
being
one
a
that
great
can
pick.
be argued is one of the best picks of the draft is Bryson Stott.
Yeah, in the 22nd round. Like this is where you pick up the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fantastic.
280, 329 on base, 748 OPS, 15 bombs, 31 stolen bases. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
fantastic. I also want to give a good shout out to my Seth Lugo boomerang that came in this round.
Yep, I like that. And also, I'll give a similar mention to Taiwan Walker, who ended up on my
Mhm.
team, but he still got like 14 wins on the Phillies, so that worked out.
Absolutely. Who you got as the worst pick?
Andrew Painter from
Yep.
Bobby. I like the idea. It was a great idea, but unfortunately, the guy never even saw the mound.
Yeah, and in the 22nd round, if that blows up, oh well.
Right, exactly.
This is where you take those risks and you're all right. That's also what I had. He had TJ and never saw the field. So moving on to the 23rd round, who you got there as
Ben's
the
pick
best
of
pick?
Michael Waka. Waka.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah. Again, in the 23rd round, who saw this coming? I don't even think Ben saw this coming. The Padres didn't even see this coming. And he's now
14 and
declined.
4 and a 3.22. Nasty.
Yeah, and so he's now a free agent because he declined his option. He was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get more money."
Mhm.
After that year.
I gave it to Marcelo Zunas being picked by Ari here. 40 and 100 he went. So that's another one. But unfortunately, it didn't stay on Ari's team. So when he was slumping, he got booted off the team and ended up where else? But
Josh
on
Haber.
that Haber. Yep.
Yep.
On that Haber team. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a really bad round. But what do you got for the worst pick?
Yeah, there were quite a few. Like Derek Hall stands out from
Mm-hmm.
Costas. Like I know he was supposed to be the Reese Hoskins replacement. That didn't work. But I'm gonna. It's tough. Lebo's pick of Wainwright was, like there were some real comical lines from Wainwright this year, like one
Yes.
inning. Um, Severino from McCloskey, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna give it to Wainwright just because it was just really bad.
I'm giving it to Severino's 6.65 ERA over 89 innings. But yeah, I have Wainwright, Greinke, Kluber, and Jared Schuster all as terrible picks here. Like absolutely terrible picks. We went old man in this round with Wainwright, Greinke, Kluber, Waka. Like all the old dudes went in this round. Only one of them actually paid
But then
off.
we
Good
also
job,
went with like Jared Schuster and Brett Beatty and like
Mhm.
some of these young kids. Also Trey
That also
Mancini.
didn't work.
Trey Mancini was also terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, good pick of Estieri Ruiz though. He
Thank
got
you.
like 50, 60 some odd steals.
Yeah.
24th round. We're wrapping this thing up. Who do you have in the 24th round? This was a bad round, too.
It was so bad that I have nobody. I did not pick a winner out of this round.
I got Andrew Heaney for the bicycle memes is the best pick of the round. Like that's
Fair.
it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
What about worst pick? Who do you got?
Uh I'm going back to our friend Matt Losey with Joey Bart.
Okay.
Yeah, because he like he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Buster Posey, and now I don't even know if he's gonna stick on the roster.
Yeah, he might not. One pick before that was Tyler Molly, 25 and 2/3 innings and missed the rest of the season. Just was not very good. Loved the idea. Loved the idea. Just didn't work out for you.
Yep. Yep.
I also loved your idea of drafting Isaac Paredes in the 25th round. That's the best pick of that round with 31 homers, 98 RBIs, and a 352 on base. Good job, buddy. He ended up on this guy's team.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on me for not letting him stay on my team. That's why I'm not giving it to him, and I'm giving it to Bobby's pick of TJ Friedel.
That was my honorable mention.
Yeah, who actually had a sneaky good year this year.
Mhm.
And he's gonna move up this year, I think.
I think so too. I think he's going to be a really, really good player for them. And that offense is only going to improve with the subtraction of Joey Votto, believe it or not. Um, who do you have as the worst pick of the round?
uh, I'm giving it. It's a three-way tie for me because it's three guys who were great like 5 years ago.
Mhm.
It's Framil Reyes, Eric
Yep.
Hosmer, and Josh
Yep.
Donaldson.
Yep.
Like gross, gross, gross.
Yep, all three of them were terrible, and I'm with you all the way. Mine was Franmil just because he was my guy 3-4 years ago, and
Yep.
now I'm just like I'm not touching that guy anymore. He doesn't have a job, and yeah, he can hit the ball really hard, but he also can strike out way too much.
Also, I'll call out for an honorable mention. Christian's pick of CJ Abrams ended up on Ben's team at the end of the year,
Mhm.
but he had a really good year, and I think he's somebody that is also going to move up in the draft.
Yeah, yeah, 18 homers and 47 steals, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
Sounds about right.
47 steals, 18 homers, leading off for the Washington Nationals. Going to be a great kid to watch next year. Final round, Jason, 26th round. Who you giving it to as your best pick?
Nobody. This is another. This was. Uh,
I'm disappointed in you. I gave it to you each of the final two rounds for Isaac Paredes and Brian Bayo, who had a 4.24 ERA across 150 innings. It's a serviceable 4 or
I guess
5.
yeah. If you're looking at the body of work, yes.
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself for not keeping them on my team and not sticking with them.
Yeah, Yeah, it again, it's the last round, so there's a lot of bad picks here. JP Fire Eyes in his mind for not playing a single game all year. But who do you have?
Lance McCullers, same thing.
Yeah, same.
But it was a
Domingo
great
Herman
idea.
was bad. Domingo Herman threw a perfect game.
For
He
me.
didn't finish the season, but he threw a perfect game for you.
Yes. The Jordan Hicks pick was a good pick. He just never really got a stranglehold of the closer role. Once he finally did, the Cardinals traded him to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, yeah. Just a crazy, crazy year. Jason, I thank you for doing this with me, and I just want to say that this is how we're going to put the bow on the 2023 season. I thank all of you for being with us this year. We have a lot planned for this off season. The next show, I think, is going to be a free agency overview, maybe some guesses on where guys are going to be going. And then we're doing the record book. But it's the off season. Everything is wide open. If you have an idea for a show, Josh Haber literally threw this to us offhanded at the wedding and was like, you guys should do this. Well,
And
here
here
it
it
is. It just takes just that little bit of effort or that little bit of what would be a fun idea, this. And if you do it, if you do the research, we are happy to have you on the show and doing this with us. Jason, I'm always happy to have you on this show with me, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm always happy to be here. And again, I can't wait for an off season full of fun and excitement. It's going to be a lot of wild things happening. And you know what? Spring's going to be here before you know it. We'll be doing this draft again before you know it.
How many days until pitchers and catchers report? I don't know, but I'm asking Google. Until pitchers and
like
catchers report.
103, maybe. I don't know.
Springtrainingcountdown.com is a thing. It's 96 days, 2
I was
hours,
close.
3 minutes.
I was close.
96 days until pitchers and catchers report, boys. In that time, we're going to do a lot of stuff. And yes, those ranking shows are coming back. But check out the blog for a preview of it. I already found a guy that I just found out Isak Paredes is not going to have second base eligibility next year. So I have to take him out of the second base rankings. But I didn't add Edward Julian. So forgot about that guy.
There you go.
Need to have that guy. Thank you again, guys, for watching and listening. Until next time, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.